So the idea of this originally was I wanted to write a ballad that was a bit more straightforward and could be played basically solo with acoustic guitar and vocals. But then as we kind of kept working on it, that ended up going out the window. And the arrangement got more complex. But it's probably the most, I don't know, it's the most ballad track of the album. It's very laid back, and it's probably the one that we sort of spent the most time refining the sound in.
Yeah, I have to agree there.
Yeah, because we knew that it had a lot of potential, but if it wasn't executed right, it would fall. It was either going to be like a very powerful song or a very weak song or nothing in between. So yeah, we spent a lot of time sort of reworking it and making sure that it hit the kind of beats we wanted it to. And it came together, I think, really strong in the end.
Yeah, I think like whenever you got the demo done for the first time, you came to me and said that you want the drums to be like Wither and Wither by Dream Theater. And yeah, I sort of took this and that. I was like, yeah, that sounds good. And then I went to play it and I was like, that just doesn't feel right. And so much has changed over the course of that song. It's one of those songs that, think a bit like Sanctuary, that has changed significantly from the first demo to its final product.
Mm-hmm. Like there's no long epic track on the album, but I think that's probably the closest. Like originally, I was thinking it could even be an album finisher, but we decided to put it in the middle to kind of break up things a bit more. But like it's just kind of, it builds from just a really quiet and like it's just piano and vocal, and then ends up becoming a huge symphony in the middle, and it just gets massive.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with that middle part as well. It was one of those songs that I was basically holding back pretty much the entire time, and then the middle section comes in, and I was like, you can't hold back here,
Yeah, the same. Even like your vocal parts, Rebecca, where it starts with vocal and piano, and then in the middle of it, it's probably the most layered vocals we did on the entire album. There's so much vocal parts going on in the middle of that track.
Oh yes, yeah. Oh my god, yeah. No, that took a little while to get right as well, especially with the mixing and stuff. It took a little while to get right because it was kind of like, oh, there's something not quite right, and then it was just it was whatever way it was panned.
Yeah, I was trying to find the right balance between too much and too little.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah.
Because
too little.
Yeah, it could have gone. It could have gone either way. It could have gone a bit tits up, because as you said, it could have been too much or too little. But no, I think in the end you got the balance just right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that song was challenging in terms of mixing, and more than just the vocals as well. It was one thing that I think John and I did a lot of back and forth on trying to get it to sound right, because it sounded weak for so long, and we couldn't quite get what it was, I think. And in the end, I think we sort of, I don't know if we ever narrowed it down, but I think we got around it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were going back and tweaking things, even like what string a certain note in the guitar was being played on and things like that, just to make sure it sounded as big as possible without being overwhelming.
Yeah.
Which is a really tough balance, because it's possible to kind of go and say this needs to sound massive, but if it sounds too big, you'd lose the kind of emotion behind it, and if it stayed too small, then like the dramatic build-up wouldn't quite land. So
yeah,
we got there at the end. So Wild Hunt was another one written for the EP. That one definitely has come along quite a way, even from the first, because we had done a video for that for the EP, but we reworked a lot of the kind of vocal parts and general energy for it for the album.
Yeah.
And like while the things like the tempo didn't actually increase any, there's just the energy of it's completely changed, and a few things in the arrangements changed to kind of, it's usually the song we end up finishing with live, because it's just got like a really good really powerful energy. I keep saying energy, but it's what it is. Like, it is very upbeat, fun to play.
Yeah.
Like on guitar, it's a bit of a workout, but it's got a nice little groove to it.
It's another one of those songs, like, you know, from the, you know, like the other ones that we first wrote for the first EP, like Words Unspoken and stuff. It's another one of those ones that's like, once we kind of had played it live a couple of times, it's almost like these qualities sort of surface a little bit, and you maybe might put more emphasis in one word, or you might sing, you know, a sentence or whatever with a bit more kind of force. Like that, like just as an example, it's one of those ones that these kind of qualities kind of come out, and then it does change. The sound changes a lot. So like it's kind of funny listening back to the old recording of it, because it's like, whoa, it's not just it's not as powerful as you say, like as the more recent one.
Yeah, because I think the big difference too between the EP and the album is obviously with the EP, like there weren't many gigs. Like there's like one show done before the EP came out, whereas the album we had a lot more kind of times live, so we had a better sense of the sound of the band and the direction of the band. So it was easier to sort of take those tracks and then say, well, actually, this is how it's meant to sound, whereas before we would have been quite, unsure of ourselves. You're going like, is this a heavy song? Is it not? Like, where does it fit? But it helped kind of focus the direction a bit more.
Yeah, it is, I think, a great song to finish on in terms of playing live. It's one of those, again, that it's fast and, like you said, John, has a lot of energy behind it. And I don't think there's any other way to describe that song, to be honest.
No, it's fast and energetic. But the thing is, even in terms of tempo, it's not the fastest song in the album, but it's probably the one with the most going on at any given time. There's lots of fills, lots of choirs, like just loads of elements coming together.
I think I have some of my, I won't say most ambitious fills because that's in the next song, but definitely there's a couple of ambitious fills in this one.
So, EDENFALL.
Oh jeez, yeah.
It's the weird track of this album.
Yeah, it's the weird track.
Yes, it is the most prog track on the album, but it's also one of the most accessible tracks in a way.
Yeah, I guess.
I think for me, definitely it's one of the hardest songs to play on a technical level, but it's also one of the most fun songs to play because it is a chance to just sort of let rip a little bit.
Yeah, I would say definitely the same case for me, where there isn't a part of that song for me that's boring and plain and simple. Like every single moment of that song, I'm doing something that's pushing, my playing ability. For instance, the chorus, or I don't know if it's the bridge or whatever you refer to it as, with the odd time signatures. I've got some great fun fills playing through that, Then there's that whole middle section where it goes into triplets, and I wasn't used to playing that, so I had to learn playing double kicks in that way. And then there's a bit before the last chorus as well, where it's basically a half keyboard solo, half drum solo.
Yeah, that keyboard solo, we probably spent as much time writing that section between the drums and keyboards playing off each other than the entire rest of the song. So much fun.
Yeah. I do. I like that wee keyboard solo. When I first heard that, I was like, oh, this is cool. This is like, this is different, because it is, as you say, it's the weird one on the bunch, like, and it's kind of different from the other songs. But yeah, I remember you coming around to the house and like we were recording the vocals, and you were like, right, hear me out. You're like trying to do. Remember, he kept trying to do the bridge part, with the kind of funny timing. And I kept like coming in slightly late, and I'm like, what is happening? What is this? But I like got my head around it eventually, but just at first it was just like, what's the flow of this? I don't understand.
Funny timing is my new favourite musical technique.
Because I think,
Yeah, it really depends on how you listen to it. Like, if you do listen to it with that sort of technical ear, then you can tell that something's wrong, you know, something's different there. And I think I eventually worked out that you can just put the thing in 7/4 and it'll work fine. But
yeah,
it's also played in such a way that if you're not listening to it with a technical ear, you can sort of glance over what's happening because it still sort of fits nicely.
So the final song, Call of the Wild.
Oh,
I think this is my favorite song of the album. It makes me so happy to listen to. But it is a power metal anthem. Like everything about it is just upbeat, energetic, very very big melodies to it. And, very fast guitar parts.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of those songs for me as well. It's also a first for me in a way because I've never played a blast beat before. And I heard the demo, I was like, you know what, that song needs a blast beat in there. And playing that, I realized, you know, like that song could probably be a good album finisher. You know, it's a good note to end on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely like, I think when we were discussing the lineup of the album, we were like, this needs to go at the start or the end. But it's definitely like, because you're going, either everything has to follow this up or nothing can follow this up.
Yeah.
But
it's definitely like one of the strongest songs we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun one to record in terms of there was lots of opportunity for kind of changes in dynamic in terms of the vocals. Because, like, you know, isn't it the second last chorus? Like, just after the solo, and the instrumentation changes a bit, and it kind of goes, like, really delicate. Like,
yeah, it goes from, like,
for that chorus. Yeah, like, that was really fun to be able to kind of sing. It was, like, a totally different dynamic in it. It was, like, really, really emotional. And then back into, like, the really fast, like, powerful, kind of loud.
Yeah, it's like the entire song sitting at like an 11 of energy, and then like suddenly we bring it back and it becomes like a ballad, and then it goes straight back into like the 11 of energy again.
Yeah.
Very nice way.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's fun too. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's fun. Like, of course, I love it because it's another vaguely Witcher themed song. So, you know, that's always fun.
Yeah, maybe that's why it's one of my favorites too.
Yeah.
It's one of those songs as well that's it's different in the fact that normally when you have a double chorus at the end, you know, you have your first chorus, which is your normal one, and then double, you know, the second of the double is just played slightly higher, and that's supposed to be, you know, the big climactic part of the song, you know, whereas in this one, the first chorus of that double chorus at the end is actually really, really light and quiet. And the second one of that builds even further than you'd expect, you know?
Yeah. It's a bit more dramatic, isn't it? Like,
definitely, yeah. Nice bit of variation compared to the other songs.
Yeah.
I think...
sorry, go ahead.
I think that's the one I'm looking forward most to trying out live.
That's what I was just about to say.
Yeah.
That's what I was literally going to say. Yeah. Same.
Also really curious to see how people react to it, you know, when the album comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be great crack to play that one live, I think.
Yeah. It's going to be great crack to beat the shit out of the kits, you know, for that very final bit. That's the thing, like, if I break something during the set, it's going to be at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have to end on the song. Like that'll have to be the new finisher.